A bad day at the office for Liverpool, losing at St Mary's by 1-0 on Monday. Here to reflect on that match, Don Hutchison, Stevie Nicol and Craig Burley. Stevie, that's 3 games now without a win. What's going on?
I think it's pretty clear where the problems are, and it's up front. You know, the front 3 are not producing, not delivering. They're not even creating pretty much. You know, yes, Newcastle, they made opportunities, but this Southampton game and the West Brom game, they never created anything. And so if you're not going to create, then you ain't going to score goals.
I will go to Craig in a moment, but I feel the urge to go to Don and tell him that ever since you told us that there's going to be an easy win against West Brom and Newcastle, Don, it's all gone wrong.
Yeah, I've sort of jinxed it, haven't I? I've jinxed it massively. I mean, no one would have saw that coming though, Dan, would they? I mean, West Brom, you would have thought guaranteed points. Newcastle, terrible. But Liverpool only scored 1 goal in the 3 games since the 7-0 win against Palace. I mean, just bizarre. I mean, you can have a look at the injuries. You can go, well, you know, they've got so many injuries at the back, but going forward, you know, absolutely toothless. Mane was the only one at the 3 tonight who kept on going right till the very end, and the lack of creativity.
Is this a blip, Craig, or something to be more concerned about?
No, it's to be concerned about, because this is not just a one-off. The away form, as well as the front 3 that Stevie mentioned, has been poor. And we talked about it 5 or 6 days ago, that unless that away form changed, they're unlikely to be Premier League champions this year, because you just can't, you know, go away from home and perform like that. And the games that they have, Southampton, who are decent, you know, Fulham, Brighton, Villa, which was a big shock, amongst other games, you just can't do it. But I'm just glad we've managed to track Hutchison down. You know, it's like the famous, where are they going to drop points? Look at the next 2 games. You know, West Brom and Newcastle. Where they? I mean, it's, you know, it's just so tight this year. And I think is this? I heard somebody say the lowest amount of points by a team leading the league at this point for almost 20 years. And that's what I said the other day. It's really concertina, this league. But they're not playing well. You know, get 2 midfielders playing centre-half. Full-backs that are getting forward, but they're not whipping the ball in with the same quality that they once were. We had Trent Alexander-Arnold giving the ball away for fun this evening, and he made a poor mistake for the goal. So it's all happening for Liverpool in the wrong sense, that when you look at Man City yesterday, and I know Stevie called it a masterclass, and listen, it was bloody close to that, because it was smooth and it was silk and it was effective, and they are defending well. When you look at the 2 sides at the moment and current form, you know, City look as if they're going to be potentially the team to beat.
Don, you were quite vocal on Twitter about Salah.
Yeah, I've not seen him in the 2 games. I've not seen him. Didn't see him in the Newcastle game. I didn't see him in the game tonight. He's drifting in and out of games. You know, ever since he come out and made those comments about Real Madrid and Barcelona, I don't know if there's anything in that. Maybe, but it looks as though his head's been turned somewhere, because, you know, at least when I watched Sadio Mane tonight, Dan, I could see a player that was really trying. Firmino was trying as well, but he didn't really have a good game. His link-up play was not as good as usual. But I was tweeting on, you know, where's Mo Salah? Is he actually playing? Obviously, I was being sarcastic, but he's not performed in a couple of games. And for a guy that's, you know, so prolific and got great numbers, he does drift in and out of games. And the body language looks awful at the moment.
Dan, you know, this is where Klopp comes into it as well and earns his corn, because, you know, it's one thing to say, oh, things are not going well, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. The fact is, these 3 games we're talking about, they've had over 70% of the ball in every game. So it's not a complete and utter shambles. The fact is that Klopp now has to have a word, and a quiet word and a clever word with the front 3. You know, sometimes it's just about a little nugget that you give a player, like a Mane. You know, why don't you say to Mane, look, you're standing in the box, you're standing with your back to goal all the time. Can you get yourself half turned? That's half a yard in the box. And so when you're playing against teams that are defending as ruthlessly as Southampton did today in the box, then that gives you an edge. Salah's the same. You know, instead of always looking to either run in or again be standing in the box, why don't you stand a little wider a little deeper. Because with the feet he's got, no defender wants him running at him. So it's all just little nuggets that's going to make the difference with the front three in particular. Because the rest of it's okay. You know, you can't be that bad if you're having 70% of the ball regardless of whether you're at home or away. So this is where Klopp needs to earn his corn by being smart and just having a little word with the front three.
Klopp admitted after the game that Liverpool didn't deserve to win. However, he did bring up the fact, Craig, that he felt his team should have had 2 penalties, the handball and the challenge on Mane. Is he right?
Don't think so, no. Try to think back. The challenge on Mane was by Walker-Peters, where he kind of leaned into him a little bit, and then Mane then leaned back into him. There was nowhere near enough. The handball, I mean, my goodness, if we're given... I mean, the arm was down by the side, and the arm was out a little bit, but then the shot was from such close quarters that I personally don't think it was. And, you know, so he did think his team deserved to win. I mean, it's just hypocritical. But we didn't deserve to win, but we should have had 2 penalties. Well, if you think you should have had 2 penalties, then you probably deserve to win, because the chances are you would have scored. I mean, he's just going to have to look in rather than look out here. He's going to have to shake his squad up. Whether they do anything in the window remains to be seen. I'll go back to that old point, though. When the front three is not operating and when they need something different, they haven't got it off the bench. They haven't got somebody like Hutchison at the back post, comes in, puts their head on it. Nothing wrong with that, you know, when there's no other space and all these guys have got... These teams are putting 9-10 behind the ball, and you've got Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. I mean, Robertson turned back a few times in that second half, you know. Oh, to go back to Stevie's point, he had Mane in the box. He tried to slip it to him a couple of times, which he did. But on 2 or 3 occasions, and he was in a position to whip it in, he turned back. They went out to Thiago, they went back to Fabinho, they went back out the other side, but with no real pace, and it just gave Southampton a chance to organise. Listen, this league is really up for grabs because, as I said, I think it was yesterday or Saturday, that Liverpool in particular are not doing what they did last year. I mean, that's just quite obvious, and that's given the rest of the runners and riders a chance.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.